Hello everyone, welcome back to Bytes of CSE. So this lecture is aimed to end the confusion regarding the confusion matrix, especially for labels like false negative and false positive. We often get confused regarding that, right? Now, seldom you will come across a detailed confusion matrix like this, where it already says that this was the actual no, this was the actual yes, this was a predicted no, this was a predicted yes. So, from here, you can actually find out what a false positive or a false negative imply. And confusion matrix is basically like it's a report card which says that how your classification algorithm worked. It's a comprehensive summary. So, and from here we actually have to find out important factors like, or important parameters or matrix like precision, recall, accuracy, and so on. So often you would come across a confusion matrix like this, where the true positive, true negative, false negative, and false positive values will be given. So here now there is no confusion regarding true positive and true negative, because a true positive means that it was actually a positive example and your classifier said that it is a positive example, so that is a true positive. And in case of true negative, the actual label was negative and your classifier also said that yes, it's a negative example and therefore it's a true negative thing. But the problem arises with false positive and false negative. Now, your false positive might be here and your false negative might come here, anything like that. So, first you need to know what a false positive and a false negative imply. Now, in this particular matrix, now once you understand this, you will never be confused about a confusion matrix again. Now, for you, this particular matrix, now the row values represent what is the actual label of the matrix. So a positive means this is a positive example and negative means that these were the negative examples. And every time for every confusion matrix, the column value represents the predicted level. So a positive means the column, those were predicted as positive. Like every example along this column was predicted as positive by the classifier, and this was predicted as negative by your classifier. Now, every time this row will be the actual label and the columns will be represented by the predicted label. But these positives and negatives might interchange. This position might interchange. So that doesn't really actually matter. And that you will be able to find out from your false positive and false negative placements. So now when you look into this, as we can see here, TP, FN, FP, TN. So there are actually two parts in this classification. First is a left hand side part which says it's either true or false. And there is a right hand side which says it's either positive or a negative. Now what happens is, when the row label for a particular cell, when the row label and the column label match, the left hand side value is true. When they don't match, the left hand side value becomes false. Like in this particular case, here in this particular cell, the row label is positive and the column label is also positive. So it gets the value T here or true here. Whereas in this particular cell, the row label or the actual label was positive and the column label or the predicted label is negative. So it gets the value F or false. Coming to this cell, here the row label is negative and the column label is positive. They didn't match, so it got the value false. And in this particular example, both the row label and the column label matched, so they got the value as T or true. So this part is over. Now coming to this part, that is regarding P and N. From here you can easily find out. Now this P and N is what your classifier predicted. not the actual values, but what the classifier said. If the classifier said it's positive, the value here is P. So since the entire column is positive in this particular confusion matrix, therefore see, this is P, this is P, whereas this particular column was negative, so this is N and this is N. So if I just interchanged, this would have got N and N. This would have been true negative. Say this was negative and this was positive. This would have been true negative. This would have been false negative. And this would have been, if it was positive, it would have been false positive, and this would have been, this was positive. I just got confused. This would have been true positive. So now this is what you actually need to remember. So so if we say that this is false negative, it would mean that the predictor said that this is a negative example, but that did not match the value with the actual label. So the actual value will be positive. Whereas in case of false positive, this would mean that the predictor classified this particular example as positive, but the actual value was negative, since this is false. So this is all about confusion matrix and this false positive and false negative thing. And from now on, I really hope that you will never be confused again. You just need to remember this. You can take a screenshot of this one, and so that you remember, you just actually need to remember two parts. This, what the row represents. So the row is always the actual label and the column is the predicted label. And the true is when row and column values don't match. False is when row and column values true is when row and column values match, and false is when row and column values do not match. And this positive or negative is the prediction by the classifier. This is the most important thing. This is the prediction done by the classifier. So from now on, I hope you will never be confused about confusion matrix. So that's all for today. Goodbye.